This is why we always say things like humans are designed to fail trading, because I wanted to make money so badly that it just caused me to lose money.
I never really did any kind of like job or working full time making the kind of money that I'm making now.
You know, it's funny. It's like everything that works for you in life is going to work against you in trading.
And because I do my journaling and I write all my notes, I can really get back into the mindset and the thought process that I was in when I was making those trades. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's been a little minute. It's felt like a while. So, Shake.
What up?
How's your trip, first of all? I haven't really talked about it.
Trip was amazing. Trip was amazing. Missed a great week in the missed a great week in the market. Was pretty upset about it, but we'll dive right into that when it's time.
Absolutely. So you had a good trip. You came back, and I know that you messaged me earlier this week, and you were saying you were kind of trading like crap.
Yep.
Do you think that what do you think what happened there?
So, you know, you can put 10 trading setups in front of everyone, and 10 people are going to trade it differently. So, you know, I had all these subconscious factors that it really took me, like going over all my trades over the weekend and things like that, to really hammer out. I was really making a lot of bad decisions, making a ton of trades, tons of executions. And I didn't really understand why I was making such bad decisions. I had all these great trade setups and all these things going on. It seemed like everyone was making money in the alpha chat, and I was just trading like shit. It seemed like every trade I took was going against me. It seemed like every other trade that I passed up on, was working out.
Right.
And I was beside myself. I was like, what is going on with me? So I really dug in. And when I go through a little losing streak, I'll go through a little process where it's like, to simplify it, it's like I'll say who, what, why. Who pertains to what companies I'm trading, and then the what is all about the trade. What did I trade? What mistakes did I make in the trade? What should I have done? What did I do wrong? Things like that. And then once you gather all that, once you look at all your trades, all your data points, figure out the mistakes you made and all that, then I'm going to look at the why. And the why becomes the most important part of the trade or your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it worked out for me. It was like, as I said, I missed a great week in the market. So we're in this macro bull market, and it's the middle of earnings season. So this is like prime time for me. I should be making money every day. I should be trading like crazy. And these are the subconscious factors working in my mind where it's like, I missed a week. Now I have to make up for that week fast.
Right.
That's what I wasn't directly thinking that. I'm not like, I have to make up for that week. This took me after I looked at all my trades and looked at everything and looked at all the bad decisions I made, all the quick day trading trades I made instead of, really buying into a setup, watching names, studying names, getting information off them. It was kind of like the first setup that comes to me is what I'm going to take. And then if that one doesn't work out, all right, I'm just going to take the next one quick, and just quickly just kind of shotgun approach it. So for me, it was like I had these subconscious factors where it's like we're in a macro bull market. I have to be making money. It's the middle of earnings season. I really have to be making money. Everyone else around me is making money. So I have to be making money right now.
Mm-hmm.
So all those factors worked against me because I wasn't able to do all the right things trading. This is why we always say things like humans are designed to fail trading, because I wanted to make money so badly that it just caused me to lose money.
Yeah.
It's ironic, but that's kind of how trading is. So for me, it was like I shrunk my time frame like crazy. I was oversizing myself. I wasn't using proper stops. And it was just like, day one mistakes that I tell traders not to do. I was just going A through Z, making every one of these mistakes. And, that's what happens in trading sometimes. You forget your principles, especially, if you're just executing off hand and things like that.
Yeah.
I was making a lot of human error mistakes, and that's what they all came down to. A lot of the trades I took ended up working out higher, but I took a loss to them. And there's nothing more painful than that.
That's the worst.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get on the record and be like, you really have to dive inside yourself and figure out what's going on within you when you go on a losing streak. Because I feel like, when someone asks us, what do we do on a losing streak? It's kind of a vague, like, I wait for my meatball.
Right.
You don't know what's going to be a meatball until after. It's very hindsight. The best trade I took technically last week was PFPT, and it was the biggest loss I took last week. So you don't know what's going to be a meatball until after. It's very hindsight, factored. So for me, it was just making all these simple mistakes and just getting back to my roots and then just getting information off the names before I trade them. I wasn't even typing up these names. And then someone calls something out, and I just like, boom, bought that. Just like, very, very day one mistakes, very beginner mistakes. But studying it and getting back last week, I had a good week this week, made some back. But now I have that in the front of my mind where it's like I can't go into the day like that. I can't go in all hyped up like I have to make money this week because that's going to cause me to lose money, as ironic as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's definitely tough, especially like you said, when you see the alpha chat is making money, it really makes you want to just buy anything that comes up because you're like, holy shit, everyone's making money. This is supposed to be easy. I'm just going to do it. But you just can't do that. And no matter whether you just started yesterday or like you've been in this for years, the same kind of errors are made. It's the same kind of patterns. You do the same kind of mistakes. That never really changes. The only thing that really changes is you can find them quicker and you can stop them a little bit quicker.
Right.
Yeah. So like, what are some signs maybe that might help you realize that you're kind of on a losing streak and you need to take a step back for a second? Do you have anything?
Definitely. It's definitely, it's the same thing like a poker table or gambling thing. When you feel like you're on tilt, when you're just tensed up at the computer, at the table, whatever it is. And you just have to keep going. You just have to keep gambling. You just have to keep, whatever it is. It's like the definition of tilt. So that happens in trading. Very much so. And in my early days, that's like that was like good trading to us. We would just keep taking trades,
Yeah.
So for me, recognizing when I feel that, when I get into that that feeling where I'm like super tensed up, where I'm staring at small time frames, things have to work out now. Maybe I'm using improper stops. Things like that, where it's just like I have to have this workout right now. Those are kind of all, and just an overall feeling, overall emotional feeling inside myself, where I'm just like I have to trade right now. I have to buy the first setup that comes. It's something that's easy to recognize after the fact.
Of course.
Very difficult to recognize in the moment, but as we're all learning, we're all trying to get better every day. So it's just something to look out for myself. And everyone's different. That's not going to be the case with a lot of other traders. A lot of traders ask me, what should I do for a losing streak? I can really only tell you what I do,
Yeah. And I mean, the one answer that works for everybody is just stop trading. Just walk away from the desk.
Exactly.
And that's the hardest thing. But if you physically force yourself to not be in positions and walk away from the desk and go do something else, you can't continue a losing streak. It just won't happen. It physically can't, So that's something like I've been mentioning in the chat is remember to just walk away from the desk. Whenever I start to see somebody kind of just not go with their usual kind of patterns, or just like buying random things or looking at weird setups, and I'm like, what this has, this has nothing to do with how you usually trade or how I usually trade or whatever. That's when I'm like, I just kind of hint like, hey, friendly reminder, go make yourself some avocado toast or something, like chill out.
ATT.
Yeah, exactly. Go do some ATT. Shout out to Joe. But yeah, losing streaks suck. Cold streaks suck for sure. But mine have definitely gotten shorter.
What are some things that you've done to improve your time rate of kind of getting the on button switched on?
I mean, first thing is just reducing the amount of risk you put on a trade.
Right.
If when things are going well, I start to increase. I'm risking like 0.5%. And then if that's 2-3 winning trades, I bump it up to 0.7%. 2-3 more, I bump it up to 1%. If it starts to come down, I just bring it right back down. It's that simple. It's simple to say. It's a little harder mentally just because, because since you take a big loss, you don't really want to only have small wins because that kind of defeats the whole
you want to make 5-1.
It kind of defeats the whole 5-1 risk reward ratio where like you should just stay consistent where, even if you lose 4 times, but you win once, you're positive. But if you're on a losing streak and you're just losing 10 times, then that 5-1 ratio doesn't matter anymore, you know? So it's okay to just start back at 0.25% of your account in one trade. And you just build up, the market will always be there. Good trades will always be there. You can't just like one day say, you know what, I need to take a day off. And then the next day go right back to risking 1%. It just messes with your head, and even if you do get that nice trade the next day, the day after you're going to mess up again. And it's just roller coaster. So I'd rather just start back at the bottom and just cruise my way back up, Patience Patience is key.
Absolutely. It's a lot easier to say it and tougher to apply sometimes when you're at the desk.
Oh, so this week or even last week, really the last 2 weeks, I really haven't put on too many new trades.
Mhm.
And the reason is I actually just limit myself to 7 trades. I only hold 7 things at a time, and then like maybe just like 1/10 of a position, just letting it ride that I just still have that I'm just letting go because it's up like 30-40%. I'm just letting it ride. Um, so I keep myself at 7, and earlier last week or yeah, like Wednesday last week, I was like, I wanted to buy something so bad. I'm just like my P&L isn't really moving. Everything's just kind of consolidating for me, but there's other trades I could be taking that are working. But I just reminded myself, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with the trades that I'm in right now. They're taking a breather. I'm up in the names. There's no reason for me to get out. They're nowhere near my stops. So I just kind of let them go. I walked away from the desk. I did other things. I read some books. And early this week, it actually really paid off because then those names just started ripping again. And I just didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to put new risk on. I just let them work, and it ended up working out. Except for like Thursday when the market just like pulled the rug under us and everything started to dump. But that day just reminded me like, hey, even when things are going up, you got to start taking profits.
Right.
So the market's constantly reminding you of how bad of a human you are and how your emotions work.
It's funny. It's like everything that works for you in life is going to work against you in trading. It's like I was so ready to come back. You know how it's like you go on a long vacation, you're just like ready to come back to work. Like I wanted to get back into my routine. I was so excited to trade again. I saw the chat going off. Everyone did so well without me. And so I came back. I was like so pumped to get to work. I was getting to work so early and all this shit. Yeah. And all these factors, because I was so excited to trade, worked against me in the end. It's the whole ironic part about the human condition in trading. It's something, you have to constantly work on, you have to constantly monitor. And that's why we always talk about the importance of really journaling your trades, because if I didn't spend all of last weekend just like you wanted to film last weekend, I was like, dude, I can't. Like I have to trade like shit. I just have to go over all my trades.
Right.
And if I'm not doing that, I probably have another shit week where I just try to make it all back instead of, just getting back to that process, which allowed me to have a good week. It's funny, it's like you have to not want it too bad to get it. If you want it too bad, you're not going to get it.
You're not going to get it. Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. And then you just kind of just, banging your head against the wall. You just keep coming at it the same exact way. Nothing's going to change. Yeah. The market is a lot more, what is it? The market's a lot stronger than you are. What's the saying? The market's a lot more.
The market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's just going to keep beating you up. You might as well just give it a break and just, work on yourself, do some journaling. Like I said, read a book, make some toast, and then come back, and even if you take a week off, no one's holding a gun to your head telling you got to make money every day. Which is a big misconception that a lot of people think is they have to just come in every single day, make money, buy new trades. What's working today? What's gapping up? What's this? What's that? And it can work sometimes, but eventually you're going to burn out. And if you don't take it the right way, not only are you going to burn out, you're going to crash and you're going to all of that. So all of that extra hard work that you did every single day ends up being nothing. Right. So you might as well take a little more relaxed, and if you lose one day, it's okay, and you just come back. It's no big deal.
Right, absolutely.
Oh, you said that did you read Trading in the Zone? You read it again?
Yeah, I went to it, and it was just kind of like, so the main, I just, whenever I have a bad little trading streak, I just go into like a few chapters that I feel are relevant, and And it was not accepting the risk in a trade. And it was like I could mentally say I'm risking this on the trade, but I'm not fully accepting the risk within myself, where it's like I'm not doing the proper things I need to. I'm not buying against support or whatever it may be. It was like, or I have the shotgun approach where I'm going to take a quick loss on this one, but I'm going to get right back into this one because I haven't accepted that I have all these risks on and I'm just looking for my winner. So it's really just getting back to the basics and just keeping it fucking simple. It's like, we overcomplicate the shit out of it sometimes. It's just keep it simple. Don't do too much. Stick to your game plans. Give things the proper room. Just, very simple shit. And, you can lose yourself when you're only thinking about the P&L or the dollars or what you should be making or where the market's up this year. And maybe I'm not up as much as it because I took time off or, whatever
Right.
it be. You
Right.
just have to accept all these things, and you can't, when you start to force it is when you start to make every mistake in the book, which is what I relearned this week. I feel like trading, you're just relearning the same lessons over and
Hmm.
over again.
Yeah, there's not that many to really learn. It's just
Right,
the same ones over and over, and they just happen to be with, more capital as you get better.
right,
But it's really the same lessons over and over again. It's nothing changes. The market is the market. Those candles are still candles. They go up, they go down, they're green, they're red. So it's always the same kind of thing. The only thing that changes is your experience
right,
and that you can bounce back making mistakes.
right.
You know, I had somebody, Jay Kennedy, who's an alpha member,
What
a young
up?
kid, absolutely crushing it.
He's a high
He,
schooler, right?
yeah, I believe he's still in high school. He's, he has his part-time job at a restaurant, making those tips, making
Oh
money,
yeah.
saving his money and investing, and he's doing a really good job. He's 10 years ahead of most people,
Oh yeah.
and that's really cool. I'm super jealous. I wish that I was his age when I found trading experts. That'd be insane. So a couple months ago, he had hit me up telling me that he was kind of on a losing streak and things were kind of rough. And recently, I think it was just a couple days ago, he's finally like back in the green. You know,
Nice.
and he felt really good about it. And I told him, I'm like, that whole losing streak made you such a better trader.
Right.
And that's the way you have to look at things. That doesn't mean take every single loss and you'll become a great trader.
Right. Yeah.
But it does mean that if you can push through and understand that it's a process and it's trial and error, and you just have to learn from those mistakes, and you come back and you go back in the green. I remember when it happened to me, before I joined Trading Experts, I was down probably like 50% in my account. And I finally made it back a few months later after being in Alpha Chat. And like, it was just the best feeling in the world. It was just like this whole burden off of my shoulders, and just looking at my phone and just seeing the P&L curve just come
Oh, once you
back.
cross it, yeah. Oh,
It was
once you
really
cross that
nice.
zero.
Yeah, it was really nice. I never went back under it, which was really nice too.
Oh, yeah.
So, great job to him, and to anybody who is kind of in that feels that same way. You really do have to push through it.
Right.
There's no other way to do. I mean, like you could quit if you really wanted to, but I mean, if you're just quitting every time you start to lose in whatever it might be, whether it's trading or starting a business or whatever, you're never really going to get anywhere. You
Right.
have to. That's the biggest mistake that people do, is they just try a little bit of things, fail, and then go on to the next thing. And then by the time they're 55, they're like, nothing worked for me.
Right.
It's like, no, you for it.
Yeah.
That's what happened. So just put your head down and focus on something, and you will be successful in it.
Right. Right. I keep talking about how I had to relearn the same mistakes I was making from day one, but you have to learn the mistakes first. We try to speed up the learning curve, but there's things I can't teach, or you can't teach, or anyone can teach, about the mental aspect of trading and how it's going to affect you, and how you have to bounce back, and how you're just going to have shitty weeks, and that's all part of the game. So you have to take those initial hits to be great in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, you can't really teach everything. One that a lot of people have been messaging me with lately, which is why I want to talk about it, is, and I know we've spoken about it before, but it's selling. When you're in a trade and somebody messaging me is like, hey, I'm here. I bought this stock at this price. Should I sell here? Should I sell there? Where should I put my stop? And my answer is always yes. And because they all make sense. They really do. And
Depends on your time frame and all these other things.
Yeah, they're expecting me to give them an exact game plan on what they should
trade
do.
Trade for me.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
But I just can't do that, I mean, I could, but the problem is then it's like the only reason you did it is because I told you to. And then if it's right, great. And if it's wrong, it's God damn it, heaven, I hate you.
Right.
So, you gotta make your own decisions. And if you don't want to make your own decisions, then you should be putting your money with a hedge fund or whatever, and they'll do it for you.
And the biggest thing about selling is it's all got to be based off your risk. I say simply, like, your time frame, because your time frame is going to dictate the amount of risk you have on each trade. You can't really look to sell until you have a certain multiple of your risk. I'll usually start taking profits It depends on the trade. If it's a day trade, I'll start taking 2-to-1 risk reward. And if it's more of a swing trade, I'll start at 3-to-1 risk reward. But it's knowing where my risk is. Knowing you have to quantify your risk is always the first thing in every trade. And then you want to make a multiple of that. The goal in every trade is 5-to-1. Some are going to work out better. Some you're not going to get as much. So that's why I'll start taking profit at 3-to-1 most of the time. And pay for the trade, get my risk paid for, so then I can just let it work and see what I can get out of it. But it all becomes a factor of your risk and knowing your time frame, knowing how long you're usually in trades, or what your goal is for the trade. So it's just everything is a factor of risk.
Here's a question I have for you, and some people have asked me this as well. And with the whole 5-1, some people are sometimes confused because, okay, let's say you're selling a part at 3-to-1.
Right.
Now you no longer have the initial amount of capital.
Right, to make for the 5-to-1.
5-to-1. So wouldn't 5-to-1 actually be higher now because you need to make more? That's what people ask me.
Right. No, and it depends on the trade setup. So it's like if I get to, if I have, so a perfect example is this IIPR trade where I started taking at 4-to-1. So I'm not going to start taking at 5-to-1 exactly because I know that I won't achieve it if I sell everything there. So I started taking more off at 6-to-1, and then I pretty much sold everything at 7-to-1. So it's like I want to, at the end of the trade, I want to be at 5-to-1. It's more so
just out to 5.
Right. I wanted to average out to 5-to-1.
That's what I tell people as well.
I mean, I know traders who won't sell before 5-to-1. That's a way of doing it. But for me, like that doesn't really work for me. I have to take some off. I won't be able to sleep at night if I have open P&L at 4-to-1 and I give it back. That's just me. So if you want to be that trader who says I'm only taking profit at 5-to-1, that's fine too. You don't have to have such a high percentage on your winners. But for me, it's like I kind of want to hear. Shouts out to Marty Schwartz. I want to hear the cash register ring at the end of the day. So I want to peel apart. I'm usually taking a third off at 3-to-1 risk reward, so my whole trade is paid for. So I don't have to aggressively move up my stop, and kill my winner, so that I can let it work. But at the same time, I'm not bugging about my open P&L. So I would say at the end of the trade, you want to average out to the 5-to-1. And the IIPR, for example, I made 6.25-to-1 at the end of the trade, but I started taking profit at 4-to-1. So you got to look at the end result of the trade to try to achieve that 5-to-1. But it depends on the trade and the trade setup and the time frame and all that goodness. But that's something else. Two things. It comes with time, and it comes with yourself, by knowing yourself and what you like. For me personally, I hate having disgusting amounts of open P&L because I've given back so many times in my career, and that makes me fucking nuts. So I'd rather. How long did it take you to realize that? It took me probably 3 years. I really got profitable and started making money after the second year. And then that third year is when I really started to define my style, which is kind of like a hybrid of I'm going to take some size. I'm going to split up my stops. I'm going to give some to like a day trading stop if it's a breakout, and then I'll give some to a macro stop. And then I'll treat those as two different trades almost, where it's like I'll sell the day trading stock into the pop because that's 3-to-1 for this risk. But then for my bigger risk, it's not even close to 3-to-1. So I can't even look at taking off that stock. So for me, it's like if I get that day one pop, I really want to take some off, really want to hear the cash register ring. But again, it's knowing yourself. There are a lot of guys I know who have no problem just waiting till 5-to-1 risk reward. And that probably I started my career just so leveraged and all the things we tell people not to do. And it did create some bad habits, created some good habits where I learned some things, picked up on things. But then I'll have a lot of shitty losers that I'm really mad at myself for because I shrink my time frame too much. So it's kind of a game I constantly play. But again, it works for me. It works really well for me as long as I'm, keeping tabs on my emotional state and how I'm trading and, the mistakes I'm making. As long as I'm, constantly journaling my trades and looking after myself, then it works for me. But I can have really shitty trading streaks like I did 2 weeks ago when I lose my fundamentals and things like that. So again, everything in trading comes down to the person and, what works for you, how you tick, things like that. I wish I had a more specific answer for everyone else, but it comes with time and just knowing yourself. That's really it. Everyone's different. Everyone is different.
It took you 3 years to figure out that kind of style,
and 3 years of doing it as a full-time job and staying after for hours every day. Like I, put my time in to get to where I am. It's not like, I'm just reading a newsletter and I'll take some trades here. Like I fucking dedicated myself those first 3 years. Didn't do anything else. Like that's what people have to realize. Everything's a process. It's not overnight. You might hit a few lucky trades in the beginning, but to get to where you need to be, it's going to take years. And that's, as you were saying, you You know, you're down 50% and you finally got up. And now from what I've seen, you seem like you're very consistent. You've been killing it lately.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm definitely I'm still not doing as good as I'd like to be doing. I'd like to be making like 6% a month compounding.
Oh,
I'm not there exactly, but still got 10 months of the year, so I'm not worried about it either. But definitely my trading has changed a lot, and I've been able to, put in a lot more capital into my account because I'm more comfortable doing it. And that on its own, just that is such a, I'm so grateful that I was able to learn quick enough and learn well enough to be able to handle that kind of money. For some people that might still be pennies, but for others, it is a lot. For me, it's a lot. I've never really, I don't really, I never really did any kind of like job or working full time, making the kind of money that I'm making now. So it's like, you really have to learn a lot of discipline quickly
yeah.
to be able to keep that up, and
Right.
keep growing it the correct way. It's a lot of responsibility, to look at it. And I'm a huge Porsche fan. I love Porsches, and like the fact that if I really wanted to, I could take out my account and go buy myself a Porsche. It's like, it's the ultimate test for me,
Right.
to be like, no, don't do that. You don't do that. You just got to keep growing it so you can, you can buy a couple Porsches later on.
Right. That's my thing. It's like I rarely buy, like my biggest expenditure is usually like sneakers, because if I buy anything big, it just takes away the how quickly I can compound my money. So it's like
Right.
the catch-22 where it's like you can make the money, but now you don't want to spend it as bad because you're only taking away from future gains. It's like
I
a little
know.
dichotomy. But again, those are good problems to have. That's not something to really complain about. Like, oh God, hell, what am I gonna do with all this money?
I know you got your eyes on those Dior Jordans. I know you do.
5,500, it's a crime.
Uh, I'll see them on the desk in a couple of weeks for sure.
I hope so. I hope you do. Then it's been good. And then I'm not going to be bitching on the weekends like, oh, I did it again. I made the same mistakes.
Right. The hot streak is back. Hot streak is back with buying Jordans.
Yeah, yes.
Good. All right. What else? What else is going on, Shake? Anything that crossed your mind this week? Anything that people have been asking you?
I mean, I mainly wanted to cover the losing aspect and kind of my process for getting over losses and recognizing it, and just kind of the patterns I see in myself. When I find myself in a losing period and how I get back. So I had a good week this week. I got back. I felt, just taking the entire weekend off of like, obviously I do the newsletter and things, but like Trading Experts work where I could just focus on my own trading, just help me get back to where I needed to be completely. Sometimes you need to, take a step back and just really look at your executions and what you've been doing and kind of, filter out all the noise to get back where you need to be. And, that's really what I found to help me find success in the most fucking tough business there is.
Yeah. Something that helps me too is like when I am kind of in a losing streak, I guess you could say, like, I look at my highlight tape.
Okay.
And by that, I look at my winners that I've had recently, and I just study the shit out of them.
Nice.
I look at them. One, it makes me happy because it's like it was a real nice win, and because I do my journaling and I write all my notes, I can really get back into the mindset and the thought process that I was in when I was making those trades, and that really helps as well. When I've taken a couple losses, that just kind of puts me in a better mood and just gives me just puts the right thoughts in my head. So doing that's why, again, journaling super, super important.
Right.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this one up. Keep it short and sweet. All right. So some key points: knowing your who, what, and why.
Yeah.
Right. Taking a break. Slowing down, reducing that risk when you're on a cold streak. If you're losing, it's okay. Just take a chill pill and build yourself back up.
Right.
Build yourself back up.
Find what it is that makes you win and find what it is that makes you lose, and try to recognize the difference in real time.
Absolutely.
Very difficult. It will take a long time to develop, but over time it becomes easier and easier, just like anything in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And don't go buying Porsches and Jordans. Just keep saving, keep growing the account, and you'll buy them later on.
All right, good stuff.
All right, hey, smash a like down there somewhere. It's in there somewhere. And hit us up with any questions or anything you want us to talk about. And we will catch you on the next one.